Hey everyone, John here, staff software engineer with over 10 years of experience, the lead maintainer of Latterly.io, an open source educational platform that will help you land your first or next programming role. And today I want to incorporate Stack Overflow on the Latterly site. So you'll have the ability to ask and answer questions and get votes and points, and then you will be able to accumulate points across your questions and answers and voting on these other things. You'll kind of get participation points here. Okay, so you get all the points. So it's a little bit of a gamification and also a way for the community to give answers. Upvote, have the best answers float up to the top. And that way, we can like share our own sort of best questions and answers, right? Just like a knowledge sharing and growing thing. Okay, so let's start with a feature branch. I don't have a GitHub issue for this. I'll go ahead and make one. So we'll start it over here. To-do linter could be a good first issue, by the way. Lots of open source contributing opportunities. If you'd like to check out the Latterly Issues tab here, we're going to be making a new one. This is Q&A feature with points. Users should be able to have a Latterly score that is a combo of Q&A points plus points from voting. Maybe download other points for achievements like PRs, blog contributions, etc. Okay, so we'll submit this. Now I have the number 304. Come over to VS Code, get checkout-B 304 Q&A feature. Okay. Fetch origin main, reset hard on origin main. This gets our branch initialized. I'm going to copy this. I'm also going to open up the Prisma schema. Oh, and we have two schemas right now because we're in migration. Isn't that fun? Okay, so there's the Blitz app schema on the left here, and then there's the Latterly.io, which is the T3 stack app on the right here. I'm going to double check. I'm hoping they're the same schema so that we can keep them in sync. So we'll be updating them in both places. And then in short order, outside of this feature branch, we will be migrating the site into T3, and then we won't have this dual maintenance issue. But for now, it is a thing. For now, it is a thing. All right, so I have something on my clipboard. What did I put on my clipboard? I think I forgot already. Oh, yeah. I think the idea was that I was going to go ahead and prepare this pull request here. Okay, so there's no code change. Cool. That's okay. I'm grabbing this whole schema and pasting it over the ladder. Then I can refresh the git diff on the left, and I see no diff. Let me collapse all of these. I don't like that when I close and open VS Code, it like re-expands everything. It's kind of annoying. NYB Jam says, have you been applying? No, I have a new awesome job that I'm stoked about. Okay, so it looks like these schemas are equivalent, which is great news. So I can grab either of them, and I'm going to go over here to Claude. We're going to make a new chat with Claude. And the question is going to be, should I reuse my votable schema, or do I need a new model for these Q&A items? Role, act as an expert software engineer. Task. Consider the Prisma schema below. The engineering team would like to implement a Q&A feature with votes on the question and answer, similar to Stack Overflow. You must propose whether Q&A should be implemented using the votable model. The answer should be yes, by the way. I'm actually like testing Claude here and expecting it to say like, yeah, we should do that. So should we use the votable model, or a new set of models should be created? So instead of consider the Prisma schema below, consider the Prisma schema attached. Thank you for the likes. Thanks for being here. This is an example of back-end work. So we are considering a SQL database model update. Here you can see the Prisma DSL. A DSL is a domain-specific language. So this text in front of us is not a programming language. It is what we call a DSL. Cool. So let's see what it suggested. Does some analysis. It lays out requirements. I recommend creating a new set of models. All right, let's see why. The votable model is too generic for a Q&A system. Okay. I'm open to this. I do think they should be linked though. A vote model that can be associated with either a question or an answer. So let's see what it's got over here. Question. It has a vote, not a votable. I'm not stoked about this. I don't think I'm stoked about this. How about the tag? The tag has a list of questions on it. So I already have a vote model. It will definitely be confusing to have two different things which are called vote. So what if we rename this thing? We call this QA vote, something like that. Will there also be comments? There are also comments. Okay. So if I would like to implement voting on blogs, All right, hold on. Let's think about how to ask this question. So what I want to do is basically test extensibility. Test extensibility. Whoa, sorry about that. And we can vote on a comment as well, I think. No. Do I really want comments? Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Let's alter the implementation to use the votable model. We can update that model as needed. Questions and answers are both kinds of votables, and then also blog, votable type, blog. Blog should also be a votable type. We can modify the existing model or create added models as needed. We should be able to have a discussion page with comments related to any votable record. Good. All right, I think that solves what I'm looking for. So whenever I vote for a head-to-head vote, like bananas versus apples, this is a real thing you can do on the site right now, by the way. Currently, it basically says that like people prefer bananas to apples. It's a head-to-head vote. This new approach, this is like a different thing. Oh, you could have like a null. So votable A versus votable B means that A beats B, right? Let's check what happens right now if you vote for A. So if you create a vote, you say, okay, it's head to head, A versus B, and this person won. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that in a head-to-head situation, a vote for A is also a vote against B, right? And in the solo situation, like on a blog article, B can just be null. I think that's okay. Epic Man, hello, hello. Author, link to votables with a user, that should be optional. And so what if a blog article becomes one of these votables? Where will the content for the blog article go? It won't go here. So a blog article will need to be its own thing. Added a body field to store the contents of questions, answers, and blog posts. That makes sense. You can highlight the code and the artifacts and ask for explain or improve now. Pretty cool. Oh, interesting. That's awesome. We add a self-referential relation, parent votable and child votables. This allows answers to be linked to questions. Yeah, that's great. It's going to be really important, right? Okay, so I think this pretty much works, and the only change to my mental model, and we're actually going to need to update some code as well, is in the head-to-head situation, when you vote for A over B, that actually creates two records. It creates a positive vote and a negative vote. Okay, all right. All right, so we have the vote type.
I didn't forget to tuck you in, Elliot. Tucked you in 3 times. Yes, I did. Literally did. Yes, you did, Elliot.
It feels a little bit bad because I think I'm going to lose my people that have voted so far. Let's go through some of these. I guess we'll lament them briefly. Shout out Zillow. I don't know how you're beating HRT. Good job.
She wants another one, and then you want another one, and then it never stops. I've tucked you both in. Good night.
On the user, we have authored votables and comments.
Oh my God, Cannoli, shut up.
Okay, so votable type, votable. We'll delete those. Here's a vote. And do we still have snapshots? Cool. All right, we still have snapshots. Argument references must refer only to existing fields in the related model user. So user doesn't have an ID? Well, it does. Why does it say that? User ID. And then the matches to the user. It's an integer. Coding gives me trauma. No, it shouldn't. I mean, we can always roll back, right? It's not a big deal. I don't know why it's giving that error though. So if we format it. Let's ask Claude. Like literally, what are some good ways to get better at coding? You just got to build projects. So check out the website, ladderly.io. You can check out the checklist, and also community helps. So joining the social community. There's a discrepancy between the user model and the one I referenced. Let's correct the error by adjusting the references. Is it just the relation name? Okay, I think it's because it wants to have like relation names. So author on the votable. It didn't change that at all. I want it to write out the full schema file. Prisma does have these like schema fragments. So we can have like multiple schema files. Maybe I should do that if the context is getting too large. Okay, so it's supported, but it's like in preview. All right, we won't do that now then. This looks better. My linter is yelling at me less now. Pretty much only in one case. I think that leaving that comment does make sense. Thank you for the likes. Okay, running format though created a bunch of errors. So a votable should not have votes A and votes B, basically. Votable should just have votes. Yeah, I'm not even going to ask that. I'm just going to do it. What do we care about being the winner? Like, there's no need. It's just the votes where the vote type is up. That's what it means to be a winner now. Okay, so now I have a vote. It's on this votable from this voter, and it's either up or down. It's up or down. Cool. Makes sense to me. I want to change the school moniker into educator. I think there's a bunch of seed files that need that updated. How is Prisma? I'm using a framework for Postgres and Rust at the moment. Prisma's great. Is this TypeScript? No, this is Prisma DSL. It will compile to TypeScript definitions. It looks vaguely like TypeScript, but not really. So if I go into the Blitz app, if I go into the DB, and if I go into the seed, here's the votable seeds. Then we'll open up the votables JSON file. Do I not talk about Harvard here? Yeah, so I do say school. And so why is it not found? It's because I'm excluding JSON files. That's the issue. Yeah. Okay, whatever. So let's replace these with educator. And I have this content type. Oops, Command Z. Okay, that's good. Now, what should I call it? Content or blog? Oh, I already have content there. So content obviously can include blog articles. What else might it be? Just an ordinary page? I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll get rid of this blog idea after all. All right. I think this is going to fail in migration. I think this is going to be bad. So let's try it. So I want to blitz Prisma migrate dev. Five changes that cannot be executed. Added the required column author ID without a default value. So I think it's fine for it to have to be a nullable ID. I think that's fine. Okay. So Command F, author ID. Here we'll make this optional. Cool. And then added required votable ID to the vote without a default value. So that one I could potentially need to migrate. So let me go look at my database. Yeah, this table is just going to get dropped. I think the table's just got to get dropped. Okay, so if I drop the vote table, that'll also solve this 6, right? Okay. Yeah, if those are the only issues, I mean, that's not too big of a deal. Well, thank you so much if you previously voted. Looks like a few people did all of these votes. Shout out to user number 295. I'm going to drop the table, but I appreciate your work. How do I drop this table in the safest way possible? I can select all rows in the table, delete all rows in the table. Cannot be undone. Nice. Q and A. What happened here? Okay, values school on the enum will be removed. So we don't know what the issue was, do we? Values school on the enum votable type. So maybe I need to drop that as well. I'm going to try to just update this. Let's see if I can bring this on screen. All right. I just need to be careful not to click the user table. Thoughts on PyCharm for Python? It's pretty good, right? PyCharm's pretty cool. Now I'm going to still use VS Code because I like to have one IDE that I can use for any of my languages and I don't need to switch back and forth. I think that's really beneficial. I use VS Code for Ruby as well. Look, RubyMine is better for Ruby, right? Two things are true. RubyMine is better for Ruby, and I also prefer to use VS Code when I'm writing Ruby. Why? Because I can switch between all the things in VS Code. I've worked at several companies where I needed to use Ruby. I have never worked at a company where the only thing I did was Ruby and nothing else. If I was in that situation, yeah, I might just use RubyMine on my work computer. But in a multi-language situation, VS Code all the way. Okay. So I have these votables, right? And I want to change the word school to the word educator so that I can get, and now I'm thinking of online courses. Yeah, it's good to distinguish the educator from the content. So there is the content item, which could be used for a blog article, and it could also be used for a course. But then there's the course provider, who would be an educator, whether that's an individual or a business or a boot camp or a university, like or like a website. Like, I don't care. It's the educator. And even if it's a company, like say Amazon, we might not think of Amazon as an educator, right? But we can still vote on them qua educator in that role. So I think this is a useful delineation, but it's not a school, right? So Amazon might be considered an educator, as in being an education platform or a provider of education, but it's certainly not a school. You could conceive of it as a school. It's just like less intuitive. Okay. Yeah, I already have this enum type thing. I think we just delete all these as well. Like, none of them have votes on them. Do we have any snapshots? Okay, so the sophisticated thing to do would be like, hey, let's update the enum and swap out this enum value. The unsophisticated thing to do is like, let's just delete all the rows and then populate it with the right value. So I will try to do the sophisticated thing. I think I'm supposed to have like an AI assistant in this SQL editor. Let's see. Okay. Here's the assistant. I would like to update the votable type enum so that any record bearing the value school is altered to educator. And yeah, should I leave it there? And the enum itself also has the value updated. That was super fast. Awesome. Assuming you have a table named votes, why would you assume this? Just look at my database, homie. Oh, do I need to do a 3-step, like let the enum have both? Okay, so we're going to insert this code. Begin set votable type is educator. And this is going to be update votable. Update votable. Okay. Might work, it might fail, but it seems safe enough because we're only updating votable records, which we can burn them anyway if we need to. Votable type does not exist. It's going to just be type. It's going to just be type. Oh, sorry about that. Can't debug. Invalid input, yeah. So let's try a 3-step here. So alter type, votable type. Can I just add? Educator. Can I insert? You're going to fail. Can I append? Nope. Okay. We need to do a 3-step process. Before I set educator values to school, I need to allow educator in the votable type. Fast, but not correct. I mean, it's still pretty close. It says append. It is append. So what did I do wrong? Alter type. Is it the line breaks? It shouldn't be, right? I don't think SQL cares about that. Alter type. Bro, just ask ChatGPT how to write code. Gets garbage, doesn't know how to fix it. Yeah, I'm trying out the Supabase assistant, right? Like this is what it's made for. It appears the append syntax is not supported in your SQL environment for modifying enum types. Now it wants to say add value. I tried add, right? But add value is going to be different, I guess. Spacing is kind of goofy. Now it's saying votable type does not exist. Doesn't it? Votable type. Oh, I might need the quotes. Now it's just telling me how to create it. Let me try the single quotes. It could be a case issue. Okay, so I think we got down here. There's just no rename. That's okay. We can remove, it might be delete. Bummer. Let's ask actual ChatGPT. Yeah, that intelligent assistant thing didn't really work. Oops. Oh, sick. Thanks, dude. Should not use singles on the votable type. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I thought they were equivalent, so. You can't remove an enum value directly. Really? Really? Okay. News to me. What does Prisma do? Okay, it's technically removed from use. Today I learned. All right. So we'll grab this, we'll go over here, Command A, V, run. New enum values must be committed before they can be used, okay? So we'll begin commit. Let me cut this. Okay, we altered the enum, and now I will return and paste. And that succeeded. Okay, that was a ton of fun. And so now we can sort on the votable type. And we see educator, nothing called school. All right, so that worked. Prisma might get mad that things are out of sync. But that's okay because we are capable of dropping the table if needed. So values on school will be removed. Okay. Unique constraint covering this piece I don't really understand. If there are existing duplicates, this value will fail. Well, there should be no existing duplicates because there should be no votes at all. Right, and I just confirmed there are no votes at all. So let's try again. Needs to reset the public schema. Ooh, I think I can even lose my users. Do you want to continue? No, I want to make a user backup. So I'll right click and close. Let me go over to my package JSON file. Backup. npm run backup. Let me pull this off screen. I forget if I log stuff to the console when that runs. Cool. No, it's safe. It's safe. It just says like how many records were backed up and stuff. Okay, cool. So now do you want to migrate dev now? Sure. Bye. Cool. So those are equivalent. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So V, Q, and a Q&A schema. Seems hard. It's not. It's just like risky because if you mess up your database, it's a big problem, right? So it's not actually difficult. Well, I guess another way of saying it is like I'm making this difficult on myself because I don't have like a staging environment or developer environment. I'm just using my prod database. So sometimes you need to move slow when you're doing things like that. If I had a bigger budget, I would have all the environments and like I could do stuff with less concern. What is Prisma? Prisma is an ORM, an object relational mapper, ORM, which allows us to ensure correct typing aligned to the database. And then I get TypeScript types generated for me that reflect the same type in my front end code, my back end code, and in my database schema. So it's like super convenient. Anthony says, is this your seed file? Yes, this is one of them. This is the seed for my checklist data, but I have a few different things that I seed. But yeah, that's one of them. There's a backup user seed file. Votables is a different sort of seed. And then you can see that the environment variables are a darker gray because they're not checked into version control. And then you can see that the users, for example, are not checked into version control because that includes like sensitive personal data. But checklists is a bright white, as are votables. Those seeds are open source. So you can go copy them right now if you want to. Let me take a look at my database. Yeah, the whole thing is wiped. Okay, so speaking of seeds, let's seed. I also want to restore users. Let me take this off screen. I don't know what it shows on the console. So I'm going to npm run. Hopefully it shows nothing. If it does log sensitive details, I'll need to alter the script. s:users:restore. Spill your laptop, bro. It's an M3. User restoration complete. Nice. And nothing was logged. Let me check my database. Cool. All the users are there. There is a problem where I dropped my subscription data. Let me see if those were restored as well. Yeah, so subscription level is lost. You seriously nuked your entire DB and restored it just to run a migration. Yep, seriously did. Seriously did. Welcome to alpha software. So I'll need to figure out what to do about the subscription level. I think probably I'll just give like everyone a premium level for a month. It seems like kind of an easy solution. What else to do? Yeah, I think that's pretty much fine. So if y'all want to go sign up before like the stream is over, if you have an account, then you'll, I guess, get premium for free for a month. So I'll do that. I'll set that up after the stream. So that restored the users, and now I need to seed everything else. Ask GPT how to just delete the Prisma migration table. I mean, I know how to delete the Prisma migration table. That would not have solved the issue. The issue was that the votable model was like fundamentally changed. That's the real problem. Okay. npm run seed. Did that seed checklists, created votables. Okay. Looks like checklists are existing in the database too now. So like actually use your ORM properly. Yeah, good call out. Ryan, trying to reset my password on Latterly. I get a 404 on Safari. I suspect, let's try this out. I suspect it won't work because of the subscriptions. Let's try this out. So I'm over here, I'm logging in. And I don't have a password right now, right? Oh, my backup preserved passwords. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, do you need to reset your password? Did you just like forget it or something? Okay, let's try to reset it. So did you log in and now you're resetting it, or are you trying to reset it from outside? So if I go to my settings, yeah, see, no subscription found. Are you getting a 404 or you're getting a 500? You say after opening email. Okay. Oh, yes. Sorry, Ryan. I think that issue is particular to you, so we should take that offline. I think you created an account with a different email address. I think we actually have an email thread going on. So let's chat after the stream. I guess for kicks, I can try resetting my own password. I might get blocked on the subscription issue though, but let's try it. So I log out. Now I want to go log in. Say I forgot my password. No, it works. It works fine for me. Yeah, resetting it. I got the email and everything. So I think the reason that you're getting a 404 is just because your account doesn't exist with that email, which getting a 404 is not great either, right? So let's chat. I can try to figure out how to make that a better experience. All right, cool. Anyway, so for my stuff, I'm logging in. What about the advanced checklist? I can't see it, right? I can't see it because the system doesn't know that I have premium. So yeah, I won't be able to fix that until after the stream. I have to tinker with some Stripe stuff. Okay, so what I want to do is have a Q&A page. I want to have a Q&A page. So an npm run dev. Let's go to the app. What should we call this? So we go to Stack Overflow. Is this a different website? Oh, stackoverflow.co versus stackoverflow.com. Okay, so we go to Stack Overflow, right? And this is the view that we see. So this is basically what I'm imagining that we're going to have. It's not going to be the homepage though. So what would I call this page? Top questions? Seems good to me. Or maybe just questions. So just slash questions, right? So we have just slash questions. And I'll take the community index and I'll copy that over as a starting point. Okay. why can I find source core components over here, but over here from questions, I lose the route? This seems like a VS Code caching issue. I'm going to developer clear editor type cache. There's a typo in GitHub Copilot. Check that out. Clear CCHE. Can you see that? That's funny. I might have to close VS Code and open it again. This is so silly. All right, I'll do that. When clearing the cache doesn't clear the cache. You know what to do. Turn it off and turn it back on again. So here we are. We are in the questions page. Now I can navigate. I still lose reference to the client community page. This one is a proper lost reference though. This one is a proper lost reference. So let me copy this over. And so that would be client questions page, we'll call it. I'll leave. Should I leave it alone? No, I'm going to take it as this broken form here. That is an unused import, so we'll delete that. But this broken form is useful, even though it's broken. It's useful to Claude because it has idiom continuity. So you see that it's /community here, client community page, community. This idiom of here's the community page, and it refers to the client-side community page. That technical symbolism is an idiom. And when I bring that to Claude, it's useful that I use it, even though it's wrong, because it is going to make it easier for Claude to recognize the token and go, I'm changing all these pieces. Whereas if I do like a half migrated page, it's going to actually be more confusing to Claude. Does that make sense? It's like the way language models work. So here I'm saying now let's implement a questions main page, which lists the recently created questions and allows a user to click into them or click to create a new question. Below is a page, a community page for my Next.js v14 app using the app router. Adapt this page for the questions use case. So basically the substrings which said community, I'm expecting to be altered to be questions. And we can see right up at the top and then inside of the imports. And so this is basically looking as expected. I'm going to need to rewrite the page component, but it understood the point of it. It understood this is the client questions page. It understood the idiom. This is what an idiom is, IDIOM. Five years ago, an idiom would be a useful tool for a senior developer to recognize a high-level pattern. You could do this by naming components or naming variables in a certain way. A common idiom would be a Booleanish idiom, where you prefix a word with is to indicate that it's a Boolean variable. So like, or is or should or has. These are Boolean idioms if they're used as variable name prefixes. So like is verified, or should verify, or did verify. These are idiomatic naming strategies. In the world of language models, these are not just developer tools. They are analytical tools for a language model because they are tokens. Does that make sense? So it really helps the model like technically understand which bits it should be altering, basically. So it's done idiomatically the right things in general, but not in particular to my app. So this is a great place to start. So I'm grabbing this, Command A, V, S. It knows that I should rename this file as the client questions page. Enter, Command V, and enter on that again. And so here I'll say, here is the legacy client page component. And let me get rid of this extraneous import. That's going to confuse things. Here is the legacy community client page component. Refine the client questions page component to mirror the patterns in this legacy reference component. And so what am I looking to be done? For example, it should use Blitz RPC. That's going to be the big one. Whenever I do this, I'm not blindly taking whatever the tool gives me. I am asking it a question where I at least have a partial answer or expectation already in mind. I very likely don't know the complete picture, but a common use case will be, I know what I want it to do. I might not know the syntax. I might know the Python syntax, but I'm forgetting the TypeScript syntax. Or maybe the reverse. Maybe there are bits of syntax I want it to use. I may not know kind of like how to integrate those blocks, but I'll be looking for certain blocks, okay? Another might be, I'll be looking for certain imports. So I want to make sure that it's using this library. I forget like how to use the method, or like I forget what bit of the library it's supposed to do. But I'm having checks so that I don't have to go full trust me bro on a language model, which is a dangerous place to be. So we don't want to go full trust me bro. If you are so out of your depth that you're having to go full trust me bro, do one of two things. First of all, make sure that you're in a sandbox where you can do a guess and check, and if it totally doesn't work, it actually doesn't matter. So if you're in a sandbox, you can go full trust me bro. And this is like a very common learning strategy for like very, very junior folks, and that's totally fine. My situation is not a sandbox. We're connected to a production database from my machine. So that is not something I can afford to do right now. So I'll lean on the second one, which is if I am in a situation where I don't even have any checks to verify the LLM product, now I just need to get out of here and I need to go like to the official documentation or something and do it kind of like the old school way. Go Google something until I can develop, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a reasonable number of checks so that I can have confidence. Cool. Hopefully that helps a little, how we can be a little bit safer when we use these language models, right? Okay. Here's the get questions query. Let's grab that. That's going to be useful. So this is a Blitz RPC query. So it passes that check that I had in mind. We're using resolver pipes. We're authorizing. It looks good. This is idiomatic of a Blitz query. And I just sort of know that because like I've made a bunch of these. And so here I am in this questions folder. I will make a queries folder. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. And then this one, I think we called it get questions, if I'm not mistaken. Paste that in there. Language models these days will add breadcrumbs to the top of the output, and I love maintaining them. So you see it says source app questions queries. Cool, I spelled all the things right. That's good. So this allows the language model to understand the folder structure, which is a superpower. If I got rid of these, if I say like, hey, these are just like code comments that are really obvious to me as a developer, right? Like I can see the breadcrumb just above. So it's kind of silly that I duplicate the breadcrumb into the file. I should just delete it. It's an extraneous comment, so it appears to me as a developer. But what I'm doing is I'm removing useful context from the language model. And so in 2024 and beyond, as we're developing in Copilot mode, we want to think not only what matters for me, which should not be the sole criteria even in 2015, right? We would also want to think what matters for my developer team, what matters for the next engineer who's going to read the file. That would be the attitude in 2015. And now we have another tax that we're paying. So language models are not for free. There's a price of entry. There's a price to GPT premium. And part of the tax is that we are modifying the way that we write code to make it LLM friendly. And so there's things that we do now in 2024 and beyond to enable the LLM. So we often talk about how AI enables developers, but this is a two-way street actually. If you optimize your practices for facilitation by the AI, part of that optimization means doing things that you wouldn't otherwise do, like including these breadcrumbs. Another one is like stack picking. I will opt for more popular stacks, even if I like them less, because I know that the more popular stacks have their training data well input into the model. Think about that one. So in 2015, we would have fought against shiny object syndrome, but it was pretty tempting and it got us a lot of the time. And so we saw a lot of turnover in JavaScript framework world. There is now an incentive to resist that, even beyond framework exhaustion. Now there's an additional incentive, which is shiny objects are relatively hard to benefit from AI augmentation. Okay, that was a fun tangent. So we got this got questions, right? And now I need to make sure I'm using it. So over here, do I got questions? I don't. So this is still in community page mode. Okay, so I'm going over here. Now I have the questions component. Here's the 20 items per page. That's fine. I would have gone up to 100, frankly, but this is fine. The items per page, this is a pattern it's adopting from the template file or from the reference code. That is an idiom, an abstractable pattern, a way of saying and doing things that is historically closer to convention than technical rule. There's nothing in the JavaScript parsing engine that says this needs to be items per page. It's just the way that it was being done. And so we maintain that pattern. I'm trying to reiterate what it means to use an idiom and sort of like from different angles to hopefully get this idea of a programming idiom across. It's just a way of doing things that is informally encouraged rather than technically required. So it's like a convention. An idiom is a kind of convention. Cool, so we have this client questions page. Client questions page, client questions page. So something is wrong here. Why is it not being found? Let's delete it and see if the auto import can find it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not seeing the difference. Maybe there was a typo and it's just like I didn't see it. Sometimes that happens, right? Okay, and then href. What's the href mad about? The href is mad because we're pointing to the URL that doesn't exist. So we're going to make that page. That's the questions ask, which is kind of like a create. We're going to create a question. Does my model support commenting on a comment, by the way? Because that will basically be the whole idea of discussions. Oops. Okay, so here's a comment model. So we don't comment on a comment, do we? Oh, but a comment has a votable referent. So I'm going to comment on something votable. I'm going to have a comment about Harvard, say. And comments can have votes. I want some way to float up the best parts of a conversation. So let's say we have a page, right? And the top of the page, it's like, let's talk about Harvard. And then there's just like a bunch of comments below. Feels bad. Feels bad. I want to be Reddit. I want to be Reddit. Isn't that weird? I want to actually be Reddit. I want my comments to be votable. And then I want my comments to have comments. So it seems like I could actually just do it like this. Like just associate another votable entity. So one comment will be, I'm commenting about or commenting on, and the other will be like the primary votable entity where you're voting on that entity, like you're voting on this comment through that entity. This is like a discussions page. I guess it does beg the question, are you like discussion about what? Is it not like you're always going to have a question? Like you're always going to be commenting on a question basically, or a votable? I think so. I think like, so even discussions, like every discussion page, you'll be commenting in response to a question or like a subject matter.
Shows in like 5.
Okay, so I think that's fine. So 2 questions remaining in my mind. Do we still want to vote on comments? Yes, we do. And do we want to comment on comments? Yes, we do. So this just means that a comment needs a two-way association with a votable. Yeah, okay, so let's chat with Claude to confirm this. But again, I have a answer that I'm looking for, right? I think I've been doing that throughout today's stream. Like every time that I've talked to Claude, there's like something that I'm looking for. And sometimes it gives me what I want, and sometimes I need to sort of steer it back. client questions page. Did I get the code that I want out of here first? So here's the client questions page, right? Okay. And then if I go to, like, let's say I actually go there. I didn't make a, navigation item. Questions. Oh, that's prod. Okay, so here's localhost, closing idiom, this thing, ask a question, fine. This is going to be the basics, right? So here we have top questions. And there we have, maybe we want top answers as well. You can just sort of like browse. Top questions, top comments, top answers. Would that be useful to review today's top comments and answers? Let me know. So default modality will list the top questions, but chat, if you think showing like trending, high engagement, like what are people talking about today, high interaction, comments and answers, if you think that's interesting, let me know. All right, so here we are. We go to any of these things. No? Is it lagging or what? Okay. Let's see, all the votes got reset from earlier. Questions. Cool. So here are the questions. There is a poor suspense handling there. Cannot update while rendering a different component. Okay, I can fix that pretty easily. But basically, this will be the page. Must be logged in. I think that's fine. Make people log in to view the questions and answers. I don't really like that. I'll think about that because you lose the SEO play, right? So part of this is like an SEO play. I guess there would be no loss of SEO if I obfuscate the scores. So like the search engine will get all the copy, but you won't actually know like which answer is the good one. This sucks, dude. I'm not a big fan of like gaming systems to a lower quality for the purpose of monetization. I wish there was like a better way. Okay. So now that I'm logged in, I'm going to /questions. You're gonna let me live? Okay. Let's ask a question. Oh yeah, and we don't have this page now. Okay, so I need to make this page. So I'm staging the client community page, client questions page, this page. Get questions, query seems to work. And so this feature is questions page. There's two things that I need to do. That's why I'm getting myself distracted, which is not ideal. Close to the right of the second item. So the first item is how do we adjust comments, right? How do we adjust comments? And then I want to be able to comment on a comment. I want to be able to comment on a comment. And the second one is like create a question. Okay. It could be useful to make the page first so that I have a material to visualize. Well, we'll see. Well, let's ask Claude. I want to be able to comment on a comment. And I also want comments to have a score that is calculated by up and down voting on the comments. Should I alter the model comment to have a two-way relation on model votable? Let's leave it at that. And I want it to tell me yes. Cool. And so we have two, sure. That'll be useful. Let's go ahead and make it. Why not? We're going to need it at some point. Okay. Comments. It's left out the import. I guess that's not a big deal. So here's the comment model. And here we see comment 4. This part is a little bit weird to me. Oh no. Sorry about that. Smacked my phone. So here's the comment 4. Why do I think this is weird? The reason I think this is weird is because comment 4 sounds like the votable is a comment 4. Is that what they mean? Or is the is the votable the comment? I almost wish you just would say for comment instead of comment for. If it's or through comment. So there's two ways that I would like to use a comment. A comment can be on a votable or about a votable. Or the votable can be for the comment so that you're voting on the comment through. Let's just clarify. You're voting on the comment through the votable. Allow a votable to be associated with a comment for when a comment is voted on. Okay, so this is what it means. You're voting on the comment through the votable. And so this is called the comment votable. So the relation is right. It's just the wording is a little bit weird. I mean, the naive thing to do is like, don't overthink it. It works. Just use it. That's the naive thing to do. Second thing to do would be this question: will a comment be for two things? Like, so the reason this system is doing this is the possibility that I might like to do the following. On a question page, I can immediately pull all of the comments associated with that question. I think I need to recurse. Okay, so the question is, do I need to recurse or not? If I can scan and pick up all of the entities in one scan, there's no need to recurse, and this structure looks good. If I need to recurse, then this structure is unnecessary. It has an unnecessary property because it's actually duplicating the concern between the votable and the comment votable. So that's the question: is should I reduce this? Oh, no, I should not. Because then we're kind of like back to square one. How do I know, given a comment and it's votable, how do I know if it's the current votable node or the parent votable node? Yeah, I guess another way of putting this question: should comment just be another kind of votable? Yeah. Okay, that's the real question. Do we want a comment model at all? Or is a comment just a type of votable? I think it should be a votable type. Yeah, it should just be another votable type. And then it's yeah. Yeah, buddy. And this solves the discussion thing too. Because earlier I was like, how do we have like a discussion page? You'll be having questions. You could have a discussion about a question, or you could have a discussion about any other votable. But what if you just want to have like comments begetting comments? Can't that be a kind of a discussion? And now it's like, yes, because a comment is a votable type. It's a votable. So you can directly create a discussion on that. Vote type, leave it alone. Vote is there. So now we have comment. And has anything changed? Like, I don't think so, but let's do a diff on both of these. Why not? So there's the votable and the vote. How apropos in an election year, eh? Huh? Is there anything there? Yo, we could totally do the election through laterally if you want to. That could get bad. People could do bad things if I do that, right? Did I lose my snapshot somehow? Maybe I over deleted. Yeah, my bad. Chat, are we trying to do the 2024 election through laterally? I can make like a, what would they be? What would be the presidential candidates types here? Would they be tech influencers? Would they be educators? Probably not. They'd just be comments or influencers maybe. Yeah, maybe this should just be influencer instead of tech influencer. All right, I don't know. Description. So we lost description A. Why have I lost the description? What's going on here? Now comment is no, something is not right. Did it get confused? Did I do a bad override? So this is the model now. Okay, I can't do the shift thing anymore. All right. Command C. Oh, okay, it came from the formatting thing because I didn't delete the comment entity yet. That's the issue. Okay, bye. All right, you're gone. And you're gone. And you're gonna get relocated. AU, authored votables. Yeah, that looks good. Let's format. Cool. That's looking better. Right? Like, is there any issue? This is looking good. Parent votable for questions, blog posts. Yeah. So here's the question. To what benefit am I changing name into title? Like, I would rather say also the title. For questions and blog posts. Okay, so I don't need a new title field. Okay, and so at this point, the language model thinks it's helping me because we're purging description. Like, why do we need description and body? Which is a fair point. They seem to be duplicate of each other. Let me check my database. I mean, if we're going to mess it up, we might as well mess it up over and over now instead of messing it up later. So description and body or not. So here's the votable. So is description always empty? So I see a bunch of records. And now I'm picking description. And now I'm sorting and I'm flipping the sort. And it's always empty. Okay, so description is always empty currently. So since the description is always empty currently, I'm fine with purging it. I'm fine with that. Content for all types. Like, is that a useful comment? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. And should it be nullable? Yeah. Nullable or like maybe an empty string? I think it's fine to make it nullable. Okay. Now we cannot do unique by type and title, but we can do unique by type and name. Yeah. And that's how it was. For answers is accepted as for answers. Yep. Cool. This seems like it should work. So let's stage that. I'll kill my server. I'm going to npm run, npx blitz prisma migrate dev. We're going to drop description, which still contains this many non-null values. I think they're all empty strings, yeah? Yeah, they're all empty strings. That's fine. And so what is the benefit of doing this? Comments are votables. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the cost. It's a good feature. Comments are votables. Okay, so now this will be a name. Going to be able to create a question and a comment and then wrap the stream there. Okay, so here the feat will be create comments. And this should also export here. So here I'm on the questions page, right? Now I want to make an ask, which has its own page.tsx. Have we gotten a draft of the ask? I'm not seeing it. So I'll say create the questions ask page.tsx. It wants me to update. Oh, I guess we never did have a create question. We only had get questions. Okay. So this is mutations. Create question .tsx. Looks like we're in the right spot. And it wants to have something called title. Yeah, because I'm using name. That's okay. No big deal. All right, page TSX. Here's the ask question form component. I would like to give it another example. Maybe settings, users. Because that's not how I do forms, basically. Okay, so settings, here's the setting form. Here's an example of how I make my forms. Also, I decided to call the votable.name property name instead of title. Labeled text field. Okay, so that's a green flag. This is what it should look like. Ask. Ooh, Claude is down. Sicko. Good thing I got it on my clipboard. Go ahead and make your components here. This will be ask question form.tsx. Thought I have a labeled text area field, do I not? Nowhere. Crazy. Is this going to be the first text area in the app? That's kind of cool, I guess. So we'll leave it as a text field for now and have a to-do to make it a text area. Cool. All right, so here's ask a question, be specific. Where's the submit button? Imagine you're asking another question to another person, include all the information someone would need to answer your question. How can I monetize ladderly.io? Like before overall. I have no idea. Money is. Question details must be at least 30 characters long. Get out of town. Do they need to do that? I don't agree with that. What do you think, chat? I should say monetization. I don't like that 30 character rule. Again, like, and I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Like, let me know if you feel strongly, but it seems lame to me. I'll go for 10. Enter is not working. Okay. It's not on key down. I don't want that. Is that what it's doing? Let me check the database. It would have made a bunch of different questions then. Okay, no, that's not the case. It did not make. Yeah, and I'm also watching the network tab here because you can imagine it would have made many, many questions if it was on every key down or key up. So here's these details, and what I'd like to do is go to the form. And ensure that there's a submit button on submit. Okay. There's just no submit button. Command C, Command Shift F, V, enter. So if I go to the checklist item form, I guess it won't have a submit button on that one, will it? Checklist form, setting form should. No? Do I always assume that you just like hit enter? No way, right? That's kind of crazy. So where's this guy used? Maybe it's in the surrounding area. Is that true? All right, let me go to my settings page. So settings. It's not going to let me look because of the 500 subscription. Yeah. It is possible. So it's possible that there's no submit button on my settings page. Where else would one go to submit something? When we vote. It's not quite a form. It's a little bit different. On the profile. I guess this is the last place to look. That's crazy. So I have no submit buttons in the whole app. Am I just now realizing this? That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Okay. Look at all the firsts that we're having. Why do I need a section here? I guess in the setting form, they were grouped into sections. Copilot gets it. Okay. Invalid type array string on the tags. That's fine. We can split it. So when I ask this thing, here are tags. And this mutation is messed up. On submit is specified more than once. Is it? Where's the other one? Command CFV, enter, enter. I only see it specified once. Somehow the schema is malformed. Body, name, string, tags. Body, name. Here it wants to split it at this time. That seems fine, right? So is this not working? Now the tags are a collection of strings, yeah. $45.7. Oh, is that destructured props breaking things? Let's fix using Copilot. What do you think? That's just because the question details page doesn't exist yet. I can just comment that for now. I think Copilot won't be able to get that. Oh, because it's a generic, is that why it's mad? Here it's an S extend any props. Yeah. Okay, because the external component will be handling the submit event. That's the issue. So here, if I look at the hosting page, yeah, the stuff is on the hosting page. Can I view questions now? Cool. I'll put it under, what do we think? Community? Top nav. Oh, wrong app. Top nav. The right section. Community. Menu nav items. Yeah, so questions. So yeah, now it's over there, right? I refresh the page. Let me just go to the home page. So like I'm on the home page, and I go to my community tab, and here's questions. Cool. Now I can ask a question. And the problem here will be the tags. So let me stage the nav to questions page so you can get there. It's missing from mobile though. Let's see if it's actually showing up on mobile. So here, mobile menu, community. Oh, it's still there. Nice. Love that. Okay. That's good. That's good, good, good. Close this. So yeah, basically monetization. How should I monetize Laterally.io? Oh. And who's complaining? So it's complaining about, we actually did hit create question. Okay, so the error is coming from the server. Is that what I'm saying? On submit is missing over here. So here's the on submit and the schema. I'll grab both of these. This is the client side. That's why it did it. The onSubmit does go on the client. The onSubmit does go on the client. What does it mean specified more than once? Okay, because it's coming through the Zod type. That's the other place that it thinks that it's seeing it. Yeah. So I think we changed like nothing over here. Name string, body string, tags string list. It's mad about this other stuff. What is it mad about? Type output input 32 more. Like, I don't care. I don't care, dude. I don't care about those elements. This is an incorrect type statement though, but I don't care. So what I want to know, what I want to tell my type checker is that by the time that we get to handle submit, I have this stuff. That's the part that we care about. Do I need the generic? Okay, there's a way. Yeah, I think Claude can fix this. We need to basically, it's not technically a mix-in, but we need to alter the type basically. Here's the question schema. Where's my form? We changed tags to be a string at that time. Yeah. That's not going to work. Well, I guess I can just set it to be a list. Okay. Okay. How are we back to this 30 character thing? Okay. Yeah. And I don't have my submit button anymore. Yo. It says expected string. Why did it expect a string? On this side? I thought it would be a string over here. So the UI form is freaking out about all this stuff, but the server was only actually concerned that it expected array received string path tags. So that's coming from this mutation. Expected array received string. Let's see what the payload was. Tags monetization. Yeah, so why? It's not getting turned into a string over here. Tags. This is cool. We get to run a debugger. Like a proper debugger. I'm going to time box this to 5 more minutes, y'all. Okay. So here's our debugger. And values, yeah, tags is not parsed. So the Zod schema is just not working. It's like this question schema is not being used. Okay, we can parse it. Now it's an array. So it's not being used. Dude, what? Nah, you made that a whole lot more complicated. I can just use dot parse. So I'm going to call this parsed. Cool. And let's test parsing one that's broken. So let's test parsing that. It errors, right? Yeah. Let's test parsing values, but tags is an integer. It's mad. Big mad. Good. So the type at that point in time is like kind of a lie, but yeah, let me any type that. I'm not any typing it because I like the any type. I'm any typing it because I don't like lies in my code. Why did it do all that? It gave me a 200 and then it didn't forward me to the. We'll send ourselves to the main questions page for now. And that's going to avoid us seeing all of those like errors or whatever. This, I should see an error because it's a duplicate name. Yeah, unique constraint failed. Cool. So I'm going to community questions. I don't know why that error happened. Why did that one happen? Update a component while rendering. So there's a bad set state call in client questions page. Okay, there's some kind of problem in here. Use router, use search params, use paginated query, get questions. All right, I'm gonna take this one offline, but Q&A will be available like tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.